if we go over here, let's talk a little bit about, somebody else was asking about QGrid. If I go over here and I grab anything, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to grab a cone, go into edit mode, go to make polymesh 3D, and now I'm going to go to initialize it, go to QCube down here, and that's just going to give me a QCube. Down the middle, I can hit X to go across X symmetry, turn on floor to make sure we're Z forward here, and now I can go through here and just start Z modeling. So with my Z modeler brush, which would be BZM, or a hotkey if you have that, I can go ahead and like Z modeler the heck out of this thing. And the cool thing about QGrid is, as I'm Z modeling this thing up, and I want to say, hey, you know what, I want to bevel along these edges. Instead of going over here to geometry and going over here to dynamic and turning that on, and then going like, okay, I need to crease those edges, so I'm going to drop my crease tolerance down, and then crease them, and then I'm going to go to my smooth subdiv levels, say that, change that to 4, maybe drop this down to 3, and now when I do my smooth subdiv, it'll give me this result. That's one way to kind of do this, but QGrid gives you a few more options. And the reason I would do this with my dynamic subdivisions is if I wanted to keep modeling, I can just, click this one and model this out. But the bad thing is, without QGrid, I'd have to go through here and just keep hitting this crease button to go ahead and keep creasing these things. There is some limitations to QGrid, but what we can do, instead of doing the smooth and creasing, what we can do instead is we can do uncrease all. And now, of course, when we hit D, it's just going to average all of these vertices together, right? Because we're in the smooth sub-D mode. Instead of doing that, we're going to turn off smooth, and we're going to go to QGrid over here. We're going to turn that up. And now with QGrid, you're going to see it's putting in lines on every single edge of this mesh. So I can drop this coverage up or down, and that'll build in bevels. And there is limitations, as like I said, so we kind of have that built in. If we do Shift D, we're back to our regular geometry. D gives us the QGrid. You can change it to Bevel and Chamfer, or Bevel and Chamfer if you want. Again, your coverage will kind of dictate how wide those bevels are. And you can, it just allows you over here to go through here and just continue to QMesh. And as long as you're working with, and we can just, QMesh back as well. That's one thing I love about the QMesh brush, is the ability just to kind of do that. And as long as you're working with just sharp edged objects, this is the way you'd want to go. However, if we wanted to say, okay, let's go up here and we'll go to like delete a single poly here and here, and then maybe we want to like bridge these two holes here to here, and we wanted to make it round. As soon as you introduce a round surface, it's going to want to put, again, control edges right along every single one of those edges, so that's not going to work. In this case, if you're going to have rounded parts, what I would do is go out of QGrid, again, go to smooth subdivision level 4, maybe a crease level of 3, and then just go ahead and do a crease tolerance here so that you can get your rounded edges kind of beveled in and your flat edges. Then you can have the best of both worlds. But if you're just doing hard surface stuff that's boxy, QGrid is an excellent choice there. Cool. I'm going to go ahead